game number 7 here in this finals lobby.
We've had contests all around the place so far. Going back onto Storm Point, we are, of course, watching with bated breath what is going to happen over at Mill. I can tell you, Optic definitely not landing there this time. They will not be playing a part. Pioneers, they're looking around because Dreamfire have not dropped with them. Dreamfire actually going Cenote Caves here. They're going to be taking on E36.
That's interesting. KCP have a moment to breathe just for right now, as they're going to be able to have all of Mill to themselves. Dreamfire are going to be in Armor Cave right now, close to the spiders, where they can walk away with some great loot before rotating away from Cenote. Now, also thinking about where this circle could be pulling, but in this Cenote Cave area, this is also an invitation for IBG to maybe get involved between Enter Force 36 and Dreamfire.
Now, with contests down at Cenote Caves, you don't always see them go off right away, okay? You know, with Mill, those middle bins are so important that, as we saw, teams will just get into it straight away. Do you get a gun? Do you not? It's very much a 50-50, whereas it does feel more like a contest down here at Cenote Caves. So, will they actually run at each other or not? Will one of them try and get away with half of the loot that they have here? It does look like they want blood.
Calling in the evac tower says, I do not want any business. Maybe it's us to look for real here if they want to just prioritize the rotation here, but it's about getting on top of the high ground. It's fine, we'll take this fight. Enter Force 36 now dropping down after getting beamed.
Yeah, but you can see how important that initial damage is. Vorez has 4 cells. He just took 100 damage. Goodbye meds. Like, you have to be so careful with your approach here that, look, frankly, just going straight up the gravity lift like that is a very risky move, and it hasn't paid off.
Especially if you're trying to commit to a fight this far away from where the circle is going to be pulling, means that you're going to be starving on loot unless you have the opportunity to get a good rotation away from the squads that could just third party.
Okay, Dreamfire back up onto the roof. I mean, the other thing I suppose we should mention is that, you know, Dreamfire, this was their plan, obviously, going in, whereas E36 were probably not expecting this at all. So were they landing in a spot that was actually good to take this contest? If they got their plan sorted out, if someone does mystery drop on them, well, we'll have to see if they can get the upper hand. Right now, it looks like they're just trying to stall it out with a couple of reinforced doors, this piercing spikes to delay any kind of push by Dreamfire.
Bloodhound scan, so important when so little teams are running this composition, but it's about the information. Another evac tower being called in here.
I mean, I guess the other thing to note there was Enter Force 36 there are in last place, and that is sometimes, you know, teams will just go, well, okay, who's not playing well today? All right, I'm sending it at them. That might be why Dreamfire did decide to go down to Cenote.
I mean, let's be real, to them it's free points at that point, and if they need those points, they'll be able to capitalize. It's about getting on top of the high ground. Once again, Enter Force, though, taking the fight right back to them, get the hip fire shots on the 30-30 that we just premiered right now. Pita goes down. Dreamfire looking to reset, and it looks like they will be able to get that res.
I mean, when they popped that evac tower, I wasn't sure if that was just a distraction or if E36 were trying to say, look, we don't want any part of this, just let us play our game, let us make the rotation. But by this point, frankly, it is too late. Any spots they would want to take over at the wall where this circle is pulling are well and truly occupied by now.
This fight's been going on for way too long, but nobody in sight to try to come in for the third party. On the other side, closer to Shipfall, E6 take care of Oxygen.
Ooh.
Esports are first team to go out in this game.
Yeah, it hasn't been quite the, you know, the effort we thought from, you know, Oxygen in this time. We do see Blackhand taking out Pulverex there in the meantime. But yeah, look, Oxygen, they were, you know, sort of the dark horse. They did perform so well at Split 2 playoffs, but today they're struggling to make their way up that leaderboard on 25 points at the start of this this match.
Well, welcome to the hardest lobby in the entire tournament. This is finals day for a reason. You're dealing with the best of the best, as Dreamfire are going to be able to try to walk away if they have the opportunity. Enter Force 36 are still below them here, and while this fight has been going on for as long as it has, this is what we were waiting for. It's IBG now finally rotating away from the armory.
I mean, is this a fight or is it a siege? Are you waiting for them to run out of food before they get out of here? Dreamfire now with the bang coming down on top of them. I'm not sure they've even taken the shots yet from IBG to know that they are indeed in dire trouble.
But look at aimbot. Look at the fact that he's only got one shield cell. You mentioned this earlier before. Here comes the drop now to Enter Force 36. Maybe have to cut their losses because while they're playing outside the circle, they won't have any meds to survive.
So they see the down, and that means that IBG go from, binoculars mode to flying right into this fight.
Green light on here, gonna be able to get that knock right afterwards. The ring gonna be able to help contribute to that finish, while IBG still looking to get engaged with the gravity lift to take on top of the roof, and currently it looks like Dreamfire are gonna cut their losses, saying the fact that they're at match point as a duo are just gonna start rotating away from this fight. Looks like IBG actually already sees them rotating. You could hear the pings coming in from Asia. And the fact that Enter Force 36 are still trying to live out through the circle from underneath and that second floor, it's gonna be a matter of time before they go down too.
Yeah, it's insane that E36 is still in this building. I guess that's just where they live now.
Gonna need to go into the circle. Meanwhile, the teams that have already gotten the prioritization in these spots have been already in the buildings of Wall. IBG finish off Enter Force 36 as we were expecting. Again, you have no more meds. You're on the bottom end of the overall standing so far in this lobby. That's why Dreamfire just cut their losses, ended up rotating away. IBG now is going to take their time to rotate into that next circle with the more loot that they have versus the other two teams we just saw.
I mean, it hasn't worked out for Dreamfire at all. They were really hoping that would be a quick and dirty fight. They could just get out and move on with their lives. But the lockdown from E36 just says, well, look, you decide to drop on us, we're going to drop you with us. And unfortunately, at that point, Dreamfire, I don't see them kind of coming back from this. IBG are camping those banners by the looks of it. They're still very much in the circle, maybe just going for some crafting. But either way, I think this is going to be too tough for Dreamfire to come back from.
MDY White eliminating your feeds thanks to the hands of DOJO, who are sitting at 43 points currently right now. NRG, a team that has been so consistent, still trying to make the comeback here. Nathan gets the shield swap, engaging in this fight. He's got the Digi threat in hand, but trying to peek through a little head glitch here. As the double death box is right to his right too, and looking to find the opportunity. Nathan has been an absolute beast so far for NRG.
God, he is so locked in today. He's so locked in this tournament. And NRG trying to add another scalp here.
Oh. Designful versus Sweet on the other side, and he with the wingman shots. Call him Mariah because he is looking to carry. Gets the res. DOJO still in this lobby.
Couple of choice words coming out from Designful there, I believe. With that win, a wingman headshot to finish it off. Does it in style. And that's a very important spot. We look where the circle is pulling. It's very much going towards the north of the wall, but that inside portion behind the blast doors, you can see the DOJO have it to themselves at the moment. Incredibly important, and that was a huge fight win. Cannot be underestimated.
Especially with those extra points that they need. Literally, just 3 more points, and they sit at match point right now, Genome. Seeing where the circle is going to be pulling all the way to the north side of the wall means that that fight that DOJO just took and won against Energy puts them in a very good spot where their backs can be cleared. It's very easy to find a team that decides to take the risk and taking the zipline by those Dragon Ball buildings. Not expecting the team to try to approach from that side, but still, it's a good spot that they can completely clear their backs from. Versus, on the other hand, the other teams that are inside the buildings over by wall have to worry about the teams that are going to be fighting their way from the edge of the circle as the circle collapses over them.
So lots of things to think about for these teams. I mean, so many different ways to play this. You've got, as you said, those teams inside the buildings like Start a Fight, Moist Esports that can cat goo up as much as they want, and then you've got teams like TSM who have to play in, around, under these buildings. Maybe it's more flexible, maybe it's just more dangerous to be there.
Very similar game plan that TSM was rocking in our previous game as the crowd was chanting their names. Nice to note, on the top left side of your screen, Genome and I mentioned it early on, I believe game number 2. Well, guess what? The Crafter has rotated for the week. We have the Moby, the Purple Knockdown, but most importantly, with the inclusion of Bangalore in these lobbies, is that Digi threat and that purple laser sight. Expect that to be crucial for our teams that land and have a Crafter in those VOIs. That is to say, if we do go to a new game, LG Chivas in a fight.
Yeah, Luminosity, one of our teams on match point currently, taking on Ironblood Gaming at Cascade Falls. Smokes go out. As you can see, Digi threats are going to be abundant now that it's in the craft. If you've had access to one of those at some point, it's a massive, massive advantage in these fights. Yanya, one of the best players so far, but this wasn't his fight.
Tawadis with the beam, using the Digithreat himself and the R9, but the high ground right behind him. He tries to navigate away, needs some help from Nizul, tries to break down through the door. He gets taken out. Actually crazy coming in from Asians.
Gets the ping on the piercing spikes. That means Jaguares knows where the enemy is. His down teammates are actually giving him pings all the time to let him know. And there we go. Just clips them behind the knockdown shields, and the LG should be able to get the full reset.
Vámonos a Chivas right now, coming out of Cascade Falls. That evac tower gets deleted just as quick as it was put down on the ground. That was Alliance to get booted off from that attempt on the rotation, and with the 30-30 shots ringing through from Yuki. He's fighting from the low to high ground disparity up that hill phase. Side of the crevice of that cave that will allow them to be right behind Alliance in this position, but they also have a pretty nice rotation depending if there is a team holding the building outside of the mouth of this cave that allows you to have that high ground hilltop overlooking wall.
And, you know, none of the teams were unanimous, basically, on deciding that this was going to end on the wall. So no one was occupying those buildings. It meant that Ascend coming in there late with the Valk rotate, like we saw, easily able to take position up there. That's the team that FaZe is going to be running into now. One of our 4 teams left alive on match point. Dreamfire have been removed. The other 4, Optic, Blackhand, LG, and FaZe, all still in there.
Realize taking shots for G7. Krompu in this position. Also getting the Evo Shield check. I believe that may be LG that they're shooting at right now, but it's also a gatekeeping spot that Realize can hold since LG have to force their way into that next circle alongside E6. Catwall has been called in from FaZe, splitting the attention from Ascent, who actually is the team sitting inside of that building, waiting to see if another team may rotate in this direction, but trying to play it safe as usually Ascend does.
Oh, we just talked about it with the what's in your pack. The 30-30 there, just pumping in so much damage. A scant few bullets and you already got a wasted bat, or maybe even more. LG, they've actually been locked down here by the Fuse ultimate, but reply so well with the Hemlock. They get right back on top of it with the gravity leap. They turn this fight around in a matter of seconds.
There's no way you can survive through the onslaught of Artstar that Yanya is delivering on a silver platter. E6 get eliminated. LG Chivas are locked in.
I've never seen defense turned into offense so fast. They're incredible by LG to keep their chances alive. Realize actually hesitate on the side of that. I think they could have come in and taken LG out there. One of the threats to them, one of the threats to this series ending in this match, but they don't go for it.
LG Chivas have now put themselves in a sandwich position though, at least against Ascend and Realize. Alliance getting word of the fight after their rotation from the hilltop, running away from TSM, have now come across Ascend here. LG Chivas fighting against Realize, which actually gives them some time to focus on this fight to get the reset if they can.
Oh no, has to stop the revive there. The black hole came in. He knows he just has to win this fight somehow. 2v3. Jaguares is trying to do it with the Hemlock coming out. Again, that's the second down. Can they actually win this 2v3?
Yanya looks completely unfazed. It looks like they can. The Thermite doing enough damage. He gets the finisher on the Hemlock at the very end. Realize gets taken out.
Alliance and Ascend? Okay, their fight has finished up. Ascend got the better of them. They didn't manage to finish Alliance off, but they're going straight in for the third party. I don't think LG will reset this time.
It'd be too close for comfort right now. It doesn't look like they were able to Ascend and with the L-Star. Look behind you though. They find the knock onto Yanya. LG somehow still alive. It's only up to Nizul, who's literally low. One shot here. Can he get away? Bring up the knockdown. They get taken out. Another one of our match point teams out of this lobby.
How many times can you be asked to clutch up in a row? At the very least, LG did so much damage there that they have managed to move themselves into second place with 62 points. Now getting above Dreamfire, who are already eliminated on 55.
TSM. Poison prime position on this high ground. We've seen the end circle on this wall specifically pull towards this building or the outskirts of by the fence line, neighboring it to the left.
Currently, TSM here are above Optic Gaming. They're actually trying to walk up.
Oh, look at house position, just making sure. Good spot in case they poke their heads out again after being dropped.
But this is where the circle is pulling, so Optic Gaming, if they can play this well, obviously you can see the roof is where you want to be. It's a wall zone. TSM read it perfectly. They play the best position for it, and they're looking to be rewarded for it. They're in a fantastic spot here. The DOJO, that early fight against NRG, has secured them spot in the zone for such a long time here, and only just now, in the next minute, do they have to worry about pushing out onto the left side of the building there that we saw TSM and Optic occupying.
Looking at this circle and looking at the teams that have to fight their way from that south side, Genome. It's going to be a bloodbath. Start a fight, Moist, Ascend, lying in wait as a duo after they took that fight against LG and feeling the pressure from it. They will get information with Kashira still alive and having that crypto drone give them that info. Alliance having to play this as a solo. The same can be said about FaZe.
Dreamfire out, Luminosity out, FaZe, they are a rat right now. It's only Phony left alive. Optic, Black Hand are the two left on match point with all three members still up and running.
This is crazy. Still an opportunity to see another game on Storm Point. Playing by the bunker doors is DOJO after winning this spot against NRG in a team fight. Here comes the catwall up. Great way to hold on to that utility to make this rotation. They've called out the rat from FaZe, but they don't finish them off.
Wow, other teams even worried about the DOJO here are going to start throwing ultimates out. I'm not sure why Enemy isn't making the rotation just yet. I guess they're really trying to dissuade anyone else from getting above them. They don't want to make the move too early, but Phony, he can't even pop the one bat he's got left. He's too worried about people hearing him.
He's living on the edge for real right now. DOJO have managed to finally make their rotate with the circle closing in. Optic Gaming still inside of this building with TSM right above them. Start a fight outside the building. Looking to maybe getting involved with TSM right on the rooftop, but that's a positional disadvantage that they have to worry about if they do decide to take that fight.
Well, as Peeps would say, levels. You've got people on all different levels of that building, and as the game goes on and on, it gets more congested. Alliance now will drop, and we're down to 7. Blackhand and Moist down on the south here. Phony somehow still hasn't been discovered. You can see him. Oh, man.
Want to note that DOJO being alive for this long and getting the KP that they have has set them up with 50 points. They join alongside our other match point teams to wait to see if they have another opportunity to take the dub, to take this year's championship.
You can see it's not a fantastic spot that they've got down there. Bangalore ult, a black hole, a couple of grenades honestly could spell the end of them. This building is what's important. You can stay in it until the circle is almost completely closed. It'll be interesting to see how Blackhand and Moist play out on the bottom side, the south side of this. Phony did his best, but couldn't get any more than 7th there. Okay, it's gonna be a battle of the north and south.
Now with FaZe going down, Blackhand and Optic Gaming are your match point teams that are still alive. DOJO with the catwall up, trying to take a fight against Moist, trying to poke from afar without trying to overcommit at the same time, especially with Walty having the L jump, but they lose on an MT.
Oh no!
Oh, the shield bat popped off! The shield bat coming in clutch! Moist Esports get eliminated!
Okay, Blackhand, they've waited a nice amount of time here. They can't see anyone through this cat wall, though. The Bang ult, even more, is going to send them back, and they will take back the safety of their generator and the Watson fences set up. This interception pylon is so good against the compositions that the other teams are running. You can't throw a black hole in there. You can't throw a Bang ult in there. They're safe until they want to move.
And that's the importance of having the Watson in their team comp. The gameplay that they've been running into with this composition to play into this play style is beautiful. TSM still looking down on Pride Rock on the rooftops of this building. Optic Gaming having to fight for their lives. The evac tower has been called in right in front of them as Hal gets the knock in the feed.
Okay, start a fight. Unfortunately, dropping one early. Still 2 match point teams left alive out of the last fight. Will Optic finally close it out, or can Blackhand really make everyone who supported them look like the best team in the world?
4 squads left. Start a fight go down. Optic Gaming. Blackhand still in this fight. Blackhand though, strafing flame. Easy flash as well. This may be it for Blackhand, and it is. Optic Gaming are still alive for how long? It's dropped. It's TSN from the high ground. 3 teams left, and the circle's looking like a skittle.
No one knows who anyone is in Optic. Once again, they can't manage it. It's going to be DOJO versus TSM as the circle closes, and TSM! Yet more teams achieving match point eligibility. With that win, TSM, of course, will throw themselves above that threshold. So do the DOJO.
Back-to-back wins. TSM is locked in to take another trophy home. Sitting at match point now. We are moving on to a game number 8.
Moment of respite here. It's been such high passion for TSM. They haven't had a moment to themselves, really. They've played the entire games out. As you said, the back-to-back wins. Wow. Incredible, honestly, at this point. And it's a team that has never not shown up at LAN. I mean, even when they weren't lifting the trophies, coming second.
Yeah. Always so consistent at these tournaments. The crowd giving them energy. One more game. We are going to one more game. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. We get even more Apex Legends on our screens. Let's take a look at the final circle now, Genome. Let's recap all the action. We saw how small that circle was to the very end.
We saw TSM, they were trying to hold on to this high ground position like their life depended on it, like their series depended on it, and, well, gosh darn, if it didn't. They managed to stay up here for quite some time. Teams below them in the smokes, but as we've noted, with the Digi coming into the crafter now, the smokes aren't as safe as they used to be. The catwall will keep the other team's vision at bay for just a little while, but Hal tries to hold on to his black hole for as long as humanly possible. At this point, you've got 4 teams left, and it starts coming down to verticality. The gravity lifts are happening. Duels happening mid-air. Evac towers trying to get used, and once again, Hal manages to hold on to both his Q and the ult for so long. It comes down to, I think it was the 1v1 in the end, honestly. It was Hal here, and there we go, get the last kill.
I love how you noted the gravity lift being saved there. I know Raven in the back, that Meza was absolutely performed greatly. Gotta hold on to your utility and use it in the best way that you can, but oh my goodness. Aside from the double TSM, can we look at DOJO real quick with 15 kills?
Yeah, hold up that DOJO flag. They just got themselves on match point. 24 points to give them a chance to get on the stage and lift that trophy. That's going to be, what is it, 7 teams or something we're up to now on match point. It's getting more and more unlikely that the series continues, but continue it has.
And if you want to have half the lobby at match point, I'm all here for it. DOJO's definitely got that mojo, and they're here to perform, and they're showing it off. On the second page, we get to see what happened to some of our teams. Oxygen being the first to go, not having the performance that they really want throughout the course of these previous games.
Okay, series results as they stand. Yep, 7 teams currently on the match point. DOJO, Blackhand, both up there at 64. I mean, you've got to remember, Vicky, the difference between these top 5 spots, you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes even hundreds if we're looking right up at number 1.